Big Sills! All right, just telling Tone. If I'm going to be a little distracted today, please forgive me. Wife gets up about 5 o'clock in the morning. She puts the turkey in around 5 in the afternoon. Simmer, too. That big old 24-pound turkey. Stuff starts falling off the bone, and there's my stuffing. There's my deviled eggs. Put a little gravy on it. God forbid I get a belch out after I eat that, because I'm back for Tuesdays. Then I get a little later on, and by the way, I have no socks and shoes on because I don't want anything encumbering my eating, because I'm a machine. I'm a la machine. On Thursday, little football, couple belches, need a little bit of extra that brown meat with the leg. Then I go in later on and I'm like, where's my coconut cream custard pie? There it is right there. Oh, God forbid, too. I'll eat that shit in the morning. Hey, man, how you doing? Turkey Eve. Holy shit. Man, the National Football League is going to own, and college football is going to own. Hey, that play-in tournament, if I'm the Sixers, thank you. I got knocked out. Thank you. I'm out. Great. I got a great holiday ahead of me. I don't give a shit. Out. Man, I got on Friday. We'll be on the air then, by the way. I got NFL football on Friday as well. So Thursday ball, Friday ball, Sunday ball, Monday ball. I don't know about you, man. And plus grub. That's what I'm talking about. Holy cow. Fantastic, man. Hey, by the way, I see everyone in here wishing me a happy Thanksgiving. And I can't thank you guys enough for those of you that come here each and every single day and make the show what it is and how well we've done throughout the holiday. I want to wish every single one of you guys, honestly, get this. I don't really like too many people, but the people that come and support us every day, I love you. That's a fact. Dude, my cat could start a YouTube show. Do you understand that? Like, my cat can start one. And for you to guys make this thing a destination where there's so many options out there is an honor. I mean, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts and my heart especially for you guys doing this, man. I know a lot of people are traveling this time. It's all good. People go back and watch the show all the time. We've had a monster week already this week because of you. And Tone being part of the program, 3:30, we have the segment. He's kicking the shit out of people in that segment. He's compelling. We got our friend Jason Cole from Yahoo Sports, NFL Hall of Fame voter at 5:30 as we go into a Turkey Thursday. By the way, I want to talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts and his pursuit of the MVP here in a second. But I got to throw this out right out of the gate here about the Eagles. 29 million people watched that Monday Night Football game, and there was no Dallas in sight. It was 29 million people. I think it's the most watched Monday Night Football game since 1996. Kansas City and the Eagles. That is compelling. That is how you win the MVP. I'm going to make a point to you on why Jalen Hurts has such a hard road to try to win that award here. And I'm going to show you what perception that I've been telling you. How many people in here believe, because you have been watching Jalen Hurts, you think Jalen Hurts is the front runner, and you think Jalen Hurts is the odds-on favorite to win the most valuable player? I say he's not. And it's not because I don't believe he's not. I say it's impossible for him to win it because people don't cover you the same way others do. If you're not a hardcore Philadelphia sports fan and watch that team on a daily basis, you would swear that Brian Johnson, how many people were saying that even in the broadcast on Monday night that Brian Johnson's a good OC? No, he's not. I want him fired at the end of the year. He's not good enough for Jalen Hurts. Flock them Cowboys. How you doing? Way to go, Prince. 29 million people tuned in to the Eagles on Monday night, and Jalen Hurts and Nick, the team, the fans, the whole thing was spectacular. The whole thing, man. Kansas City's fans, Mahomes, Andy Reid, the storyline, everyone loved it. It was the most watched television show this year so far. That's insane. The National Football League is the #1 TV show in America each weekend. It's not something on network television like a sitcom or a reality TV show. It's the NFL. NFL football is the #1 property when it comes to all of these networks now. It's not the old sitcoms. Roland says that the MVP award is a popularity award. Jalen cannot read defenses. He needs to be traded for Zach Wilson. Must be a Giant fan or a Jet fan. Yeah. Hey, it's a night. What, you see that guy right there, Tony? Tony's a Jet fan going, hey, you got to take Zach Wilson off our hands. Jalen sucks. Can we have him? Yeah, okay, dude. No, Diego, you ain't an idiot. He's trying to do reverse psychology on you. He wants you to take the MILF hunter. I don't know. Sorry, dog. It ain't going to work, man. Hey, get this, too. Showing it local TV and not just ESPN helps, too. It was on network television, too. I believe it was on ABC. Okay? All right. I want to get into something here. Oh, I want to point this out before we get into the quest. Hey, by the way, the MVP award, just so you know, the most valuable player award is a collateral reward for winning. You understand that? So when we say with Jalen, so when you guys go, I don't care about the MVP award. I care more about the Super Bowl MVP. Well, the NFL MVP award has nothing to do with the postseason. It's a collateral award for success. Is it the ultimate? No. But it's a collateral award because you're playing well. Your team's doing well. And you've put your team in a position to win the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any problem with a player wanting to be the most valuable player. Because that means my team's playing well. I'm helping my team win a championship. Now, if you were gauged on whether or not the MVP award was going to dictate on what you did in the postseason too, then we have a different conversation. But it's got nothing to do with the second season. So when some of you go, I don't give a shit if he wins it. I only care he wins a Super Bowl. No shit. No shit. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's a collateral achievement for you doing well. Okay? Sileo, Cowboy fans are saying Dak is the best quarterback in the NFL. Milk, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Because that's the perception. I'm going to give it to you. How many people, I'm going to show you. Wait, listen, guys. Excuse me. How many people think that everyone that votes on the MVP award diligently watches the importance of what Jalen Hurts brings to a football team? Nunez goes, they're delusional. Nunez and Milk are right. They're both right. They are delusional. Delusional people vote on that award. Here. Let me show you something here. This is incredible, too. And this is where Jalen Hurts gets gobbled up in the conversation of MVP outside of Philly in our shows, our network, the radio stations in Philadelphia. But when you look at it in the broad context, is Hurts really the favorite to win this award? Because numbers-wise, he's not going to be in the conversation. Sam Howell has 3,038. I'm going to make a point at the end of it, so let me get to the point. 683 attempts, 456, 66.7 completion percentage. He's on pace for 46.95. 28 touchdowns, 19 picks. Jalen Hurts is on pace for 42, 45, 68.5, 556, 381, 94.8 quarterback rating. Kind of pretty close, Sam Howell and him. Right? Tua, on pace for 49.88, 590, 411 completion, 69.7 completion percentage, 36 touchdowns, 14 picks, 106 QBR. Well, there's a second guy that's in the conversation with him. Here comes the third guy. Josh Allen, 4,443, 34 touchdowns, 19 picks, 97.6. 70% completion percentage. Well, there's another guy who's on pace to have a better passing season than him. Purdy, 45-25, 31 touchdowns, 9 picks, 70.2, 115.1. They actually lead the NFL, all those numbers. Another guy outplaying him. Mahomes, just beat him. 44-52, 67-1, 32-15, 93-8. Another guy outplaying him. Lamar and him are kind of the same. 37-72, 69.5 completion percentage, 19-8. Jalen's better than that. 100 QBR. See what he says down here? 357 goes, those guys have easy schedules, though. It's not mattering, is it? With the Dak conversation. It's not mattering. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Dak Prescott, 4,427. He's on pace to throw for more yards than Jalen. 32 touchdowns and 10 picks. He's on pace to have a more touchdown proficient year and less INTs. 104. 70.1 quarterback rating. I'm going to make a point here. CJ Stroud's on pace for 5,035. 29-9, 99-3, 62-8. My point is, all these players with these years will cloud the conversation of Hurts more. Jalen's not playing any better than these guys. Unless you're watching the games. And how many people out there truly believe that these guys who vote for this award, and by the way, it's easy for you to sit here and say, one of the things is, hey, the award doesn't matter. The award has no bearing on the Super Bowl. It's picked at the end of the regular season. So it has no bearing. I want him to win it. I want him to win it. He's not outplaying these guys. And you know what they're going to say? Well, he's got AJ. He's got Devontae. He's got a great O-line. He's got everything that many of these players don't have. That's how you jade the conversation of MVP for Jalen Hurts. And it started even after a significant win. I'm going to make the point why I think the guys that are going to vote for this, and we're going to talk to Jason Cole, who's a voter on the MVP. I'm going to make the case, and I'm going to show you why they're not going to do their due diligence with Hurts. There's going to be 5 or 6 guys that are going to have better years than him. There just is, unless you're watching the games. Okay? Wait a minute. Again, you know what some of you are going to go? We'll add the rush. I get it. They won't. They won't add the rushing. I named you 7 guys that are having better proficient years than him. But still, he's not, and those guys aren't winning the significant games. Okay, you really think they're doing that much due diligence, and they're going to put that much, or are they going to go with the most popular? That's why that $29 million on Monday is important. Rolling goes, why won't they add the rushing? Because they don't look at the rushing quarterback as a quarterback and a true pocket passer. It's not a stats award? Really? I think it is a stats award, and I do think it's a popularity award. Jalen's not the most popular guy on this list. Far from it. He's the most revered, maybe, or one of the most revered, but that don't make you the most popular. Remember something. Aaron Rodgers has more MVPs, and so does Peyton Manning than Tom Brady. Brady was never looked at in popularity early in his career. Okay? They look at Jackson as an MVP. You know, after looking at Lamar Jackson's statistics this year, I don't see it. You know, I was under the impression he was on pace for 4,500 yards. Not me. That right there, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. Sorry, I don't see. You better run for 2,000 yards then. I don't see that. I mean, honestly, he's not in my conversation. I'd rather put Brock Purdy in along with Mahomes and with Jalen Hurts before I do that. And that's how the writers are going to look at it. But I look at Brock Purdy and go like this. Brock Purdy, is he even the best guy in his own huddle? Now, here's where I try to make the conversation. Yeah, but, you know, what's his name goes, Kelly Green goes, Josh Allen is not an MVP candidate. He's got better numbers than Jalen right now. All across the board. All across the board. Every single offensive statistic across the board, he's better than. But Sills, he's not as good this year. He's not playing. That's not what the numbers say. How many people think that? And once again, people that vote on these awards, they read box scores. They don't read what the game was or watch the games. Okay? They don't. Now, is the record important? Absolutely, I think the record's important. Jalen don't need MVP. He's a winner. That's a dumbass take. I want him to win this thing. You should too. You should want him to win it. Stop with that. Well, it doesn't matter to me if he. It matters. Wouldn't you want to have the most valuable player, the most distinguished award the National Football League can bestow upon a player outside the Walter Payton Award? Stupid. Empty stats. That's not the point, Keon. It's how people vote. What a dummy again. Jalen's not having any better season than any one of these guys. What's going to separate it? Here's my argument for Hurts. Okay? Here's my argument. I want to get to that point too. So, if you're in a room and you're voting for that award, and I say these guys have all these great numbers, but at the end of the day, I walk into a room and go, yeah, he threw for 5,000 yards and he threw for 40 touchdowns. But I beat Tua, Dak, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Dak again. I mean, what more would you want me to do? I led teams that beat all the guys that you're debating, and I beat them, and I outplayed them. My team outplayed them. Why are you penalizing me? This is going to be about the perception of him knocking these pins down like you're at a bowling alley. I don't give a shit about those statistics. I care you beat Tua, Dak, Mahomes, Allen, Purdy, Geno. You get those pins knocked down, there is absolutely no excuse for anyone. I don't care if he plays the last 3 games or not. That man's not the MVP. I don't care if Josh Allen ends up with 4,500 passing yards, or Mahomes ends up with 4,452, or CJ Stroud ends up with 5,035, 29-9. I don't care. If you knock down Tua, Dak twice, Mahomes, Allen, Purdy, and Geno, I'm not sure what we're talking about, what the most valuable person is to his team. That's the most valuable person to a team if you do that. Give me another reason. 49er people, anyone. You can't deny it. There's not a argument left. Because if he wins all those games, he's 14-1 going into the final 2, I believe. You're 14-1, and with the hardest schedule in the league, you're 14-1. And at that point, you'll be 28-4 in the regular season. I'm not okay. There's nothing left to argue. There's nothing left to argue. There's nothing about this offense, that guy. It's about talking about Jalen Hurts will be off the radar completely. It'll be about things around him that are hurting him. Like you had the conversation with Mahomes. He's in a position right now to completely change the NFL narrative on him with this next stretch of games. You're 14-1 coming out of this. Over. I'll debate that until I'm blue in the face. Yeah, but this guy threw for 5,000 yards and this guy hung in here. And I'm like, yeah, well, he beat him. So in consecutive weeks, he's beat Dak and Mahomes. And now he's got Allen. I mean, eventually you got to get to the point where you stop being Skip Bayless talking about how LeBron blows. Because then you come off, you're just completely hating on the kid. Okay? I mean, you can't get through a list of QBs that you revere more than him. See, like I said, you see these numbers? This is right now heading into this stretch run here. And I've already think he's already almost halfway home in this stretch run. He's almost halfway home. Okay? This week, if he wins this game this weekend, he'll be halfway home after this. Be 3-0. Get this. You would knock down Dak, Mahomes, and Allen. Holy Nate, show me a place on the schedule of any NFL team where a quarterback has run through a gauntlet of quarterbacks like that has won all three of them in a row. Can you do that? Is there some schedule of quarterbacks that a guy has won 3 in a row like that? I think this could easily be one of the most impressive runs coming up that a quarterback has ever gone through. MVP has become a finesse award nowadays. Yeah, because the league's soft. Think about this, what he'll do. You win all those games against all the quarterbacks that I named. Say you get into the Super Bowl and you got to play Lamar and he beats them. How do you not say this? He's the best quarterback in pro football. He's got to win it. But if he does, how is he not the best quarterback in pro football? And he either takes a chair next to Mahomes or he is at that time the best player in the game. This is all collateral rewards for playing well and then playing great. You know, you got to get to a point. And I got to that point with LeBron when he won his first title in Miami. I'm not the one. You see, Bayless is part of the crew and the older guys that are older than me. That because they make a point. You see, Senor likes Skip Bayless and his opinions. Because Skip has kept and didn't flip-flop on LeBron. But you see what Senor doesn't get? How does Skip look now? When you talk about LeBron and you rip him. Wait a minute, though, Senor. Skip didn't flip-flop on LeBron. And you respect that. You respect that. You say it every day in here. You say that every day in here to me. You respect Skip Bayless because he didn't flip-flop on LeBron. You say it every day. How do you think that take looks now? Wait a minute, Senor. You have to respect. I didn't say you respect Bayless. You respect his take for not flip-flopping, correct or not? It's what you accuse me of every day. Bayless does not flip-flop on LeBron. How does that take sit today? How does that take sit today? With Bayless and his constant badgering of LeBron not being a big game, big time when he passed 39,000 points last night. How is that? You respect Skip's takes. I don't. Because when he won that championship, and I'm getting back to the Jalen here, okay? I'm getting back to Jalen. Jalen Hurts is now in a position where he's changing how people are going to look at him if they do it the right way. Okay? If he wins these games, I don't know how you don't call him the best quarterback in the game. And number one, you see, And this is why I tell you, players change the narrative of every single player. Okay? All of you thought, as I've said to you before, that Carson Wentz, you all loved him. 5 years later, he became what he was. Once he didn't pan out, you didn't like him anymore. It's okay. That's okay. There's so many great things that are coming up in these next 6 games here for this team. I think they're on a historic run. I think they're on a run that resembles a little bit of that Miami Dolphins teams. Can you imagine this? You lose one game, and it was to the Jets. Jesus criminy. You're close to perfection. I mean, I don't know how these next, well, we've got through Kansas City already. I don't know how these next couple games. I just don't know how these next couple games are going to go. It's got to be exhausting. I'll say this too. One of the reasons why I think the offensive line is struggling a little, struggling is because I would say this to you. Do you not agree? That hurts his mobility and him not being a pure drop back guy. Skip has no takes. Bayless is trash. Don't be a senorita today is your first day giving Jalen Hurts his respect. There's no reason to insult my fact that I just asked you why you respect his take more than mine when I try to give somebody props for playing the way they are, and he constantly, still to this day, bashes a four-time MVP, four-time NBA champion, 3 different cities. He's the all-time leading scorer. He passed 39,000 points last night. He's probably going to pass. He's probably going to pass Ray Allen for the most threes attempted pretty soon. I mean, the conversation about LeBron is over. Now, would I take him over Jordan in a 48-minute game? Probably not. But would I start my basketball team with LeBron or Jordan? I'd start it with LeBron. You know why? I could play him at all 5 positions. I can't do that with Jordan. Jordan is the most complete basketball player in the history of the sport. Maybe the only other guy you could put in that conversation is Wilt. Wilt led the NBA in assists one year. I mean, I think Chamberlain going to the Harlem Globetrotters was one of the greatest things ever to happen to him. But to me, the most complete basketball player in the history of the sport is LeBron James, especially when he decided to put his back to the backboard. There's not a better guy in the paint. Maybe the centers that you go all time. Barkley was sensational down on the box. Duncan was great off the board on the box. All that, but I would say the greatest guy and the greatest 4 of all time has to be LeBron James. He's just the greatest. But yet you got Bayless still holding on to his old school ways of how he looks at him. Players change. And if you're an old school old man with the old attitude of, hey, old man, get off my lawn mentality, and you don't change your narrative when a player becomes greater. Hey, watch this. You think Nick Saban has a different opinion of Jalen Hurts today? Let's put the greatest college football coach of all time out there. I don't want someone to have the same take every day. I just don't want someone finally flopping to what we have been yelling to you all summer. Well, sorry, senor. If I have a conviction and a belief that I think at that time is what it is, and over a period of time, if somebody like Hassan Reddick changes that narrative, I'm watching a player prove me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being proven wrong. I don't have a problem with that. Did Hassan Reddick prove me wrong? Yes. Did Lamar Jackson prove me wrong? Yes. Did Nakobe Dean prove me right? Yes. Okay? Has Jordan Davis? Yes. It's okay to be proven wrong. The problem I have is the guy that consistently still sits there and tries to bullshit you like Skip telling you LeBron's nobody. Fans can feel whatever they want. Facts over feelings all day. That's right, dude. How about this one, too? Feelings? I want results. And that's what he's talking about with facts. Hurts proved me wrong. Hurts is proving a lot. Get this. RTF goes, Hurts has proved you wrong. Not yet. Right now, he's Michael Vick. He's a better Vick. He's not as electric as Vick. But right now, him and Lamar are Vick. You got to win a championship, dude. You got to win those games. Hey, like I said, there's only one elite quarterback in the NFL today. One. There's no other elite guy. Well, Aaron Rodgers when he plays. I think Stafford had an elite moment. I mean, the guy Golf is doing more in Detroit than Matthew Stafford ever did. I look at Matthew Stafford and go, I don't know, Joe Flacco. Okay? And how you hate when you're right when players fail. No, I don't. I don't give a shit at all, Matt. You'd rather be proven wrong. Shows great character, Big Sills. Thank you, Matt. Okay, I got it now. I'm sorry. I didn't read all of it. Thank you, sir. Dude, I love it when those guys prove me wrong. That's a tremendous thing to see a kid. I said that Lamar Jackson couldn't throw a ball through an open barn door. Next year, he goes on to win the MVP. Holy shit, I couldn't have been more wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. Hey, Prince, you know the guy, Bayless, is full of shit when he gets out there trying to tell you that the Cowboys are better than you because he hung with you and he hung with the Eagles and they beat two bums. Where the Eagles have come off beating the Cowboys and the Chiefs. One of those games at Arrowhead. That's insanity. Just those wins alone this year. Jalen Hurts is, get this, Jalen Hurts is having his greatest year as an Eagle quarterback. He's learning how to do so many things. Let me give you an example of that. He doesn't handle blitzing very well. Sorry, he still struggles with it. But you know what I think also is happening with the O-line and why they've not performed to the best of their ability? There's twofold. You have the worst blocking running backs in pro football. They're terrible, so they're not helping in protection. And they're making the interior with Dickerson and Kelsey and the right guard position, which they haven't filled, look awful, especially when you line up against quality people. You get pushed around in there now. Jason Kelsey looked old Monday night. Let's be candid. He looked old. And Chris Jones has a lot to do with that, but he looked old. He gave him a whooping. I know some of you don't like to hear that, but Jason Kelsey got his ass kicked on Monday. And I wouldn't be upset with that because Jordan Mailata did when he lined up on him. Kelsey did. Whoever played the right guard position, and Lane got his ass kicked. That guy's the best interior defensive tackle in the league. That's why he's making $25 million. Okay? He lived up to the billing. That's as good as it gets. Okay? That's as good as it gets. But you're really not going to line up against a guy like that every week. I mean, there's not another guy that those guys are going to have to play like that down the stretch. How about this? He's more dominant than Michael Parsons will ever be. Okay? Kelsey got worked. Chris Johnson put our entire old line in a blender. He did. He destroyed him. He picked which guy like Reggie White used to do and just kicked the shit out of every one of them, including Lane. But again, that guy's the best in the business. You're not going to face another guy like that the rest of the way out. I don't think there's any. Well, he's on the perimeter, That's Nick. I thought you did a nice job on Nick last year. Is there anybody else that you're going to be playing? Nobody's in Buffalo. I don't think Dallas really has a dominant interior tackle or a tackle like that. I don't think you're playing anybody until you possibly get to the postseason. You may say Aiden Hutchinson in the postseason. I think he's a better player than I thought he was going to be. You'll probably see Boza somewhere in there. But you're not going to see a guy like Chris Jones. So, you know, that guy is as good as it gets. Okay? Yeah, but Roland, I think that has a lot to do with the right guard position not having filled it. Because, quite frankly, Cam Jurgens was terrible in that game on Monday night. Opetta's been terrible. I thought he was going to be somebody after handling Aaron Donald, but he wasn't. They have not fulfilled and filled that right guard position. I think that's probably playing a little factor in your run game and also in Hurts and getting hit more. I would also add this context in here on Jalen Hurts and blitzing. Your running backs blow out loud. Look at Forte go. Swift got his yards. Bro, they ran for 178 yards on you, and they shut your run offense down. He had the toughest yards. He had his best games because they were tough-ass yards. But don't get it confused. Kansas City, their D-line and O-line outplayed you. Sills, I feel like it's offensive play calling that's making Hurts look bad when it comes down to blitzes. Hence why Hurts changed the play call. Martin, that's a really great observation, but I'm also going to add this down and put this into context as well. Okay? We're talking about blocking, and these guys bring up yards. Seals, it can't be. I mean, I know. Some of them, they don't understand what happened in that game. Because they don't want to. Okay? They don't want to. Okay? They ran for 178 yards on you, dude. Or 68 yards on you. Again, that's not where I'm going. One of the reasons that I think that the quarterback's getting hit more and you're not really pass protecting very well. By the way, just for the record, there were 5 sacks by Kansas City. 5 sacks. Swift had 107 yards in that game. DeAndre Swift had 107 yards. Huh. I thought he had 72. I thought he had 72 in that game. My bad. Yeah, Swift had about 70 on the ground and 30 in the air. Again, I was talking about the run game. Move on here. And I'm going to get to the point, not debating the dumbasses in here that think your O-line handled Kansas City's D-line. Where 5 sacks and crushed you. And crushed every guy in the line. And then they turned around and ran the ball on you for almost 200 yards. Let's not get it twisted here. Here's why I think they're struggling a little bit in the pass game and in pass protection. Jalen Hurts is so mobile back there. I don't think these guys know where he is. Okay? I don't think they know where he is in the pocket. And I think Jalen's still trying to figure out pocket presence. It's not that he's a coward. It's not that he's tough or not tough. But when you have a true 7-step guy, Jalen doesn't have a point or a spot. Jalen's a mobile dual threat guy. They're all his spots. And I think when you block for Tom Brady, you know where he is. When you block for Matthew Stafford, you know where he is. I don't have to turn around and know where he is. I know where he is. I don't know where Hurts is. It is so difficult to pass protect for people like Lamar, Allen, Hurts, because you don't know where they are in the pocket. You have no idea. You're blocking here. You could be doing your assignment, and you could be doing a great job. Hurts moves around. All of a sudden, there's a blitz with McDuffie. He moves up there. You don't even know he was behind him. You don't even know how close he was to you. Is that I think they're still figuring that out in pass protection. It would help if they had a decent back to help them out on that. That would give the O-line some help, especially in the interior. But I think they have struggled this year pass protecting. And it's because they're going to being more of a passing team. That's the evolution of this too. And I think that's what struggles a little bit with Brian Johnson, because pressure has picked up this year on that O-line. I think if I were to grade them as a run blocking team, I would probably give them a B-. Pass protecting, a C. I don't think they've been very good pass protectors. I just don't. Washington rushed them. I just don't think they're very good pass protectors this year. You're so right. That's why having a pass blocking running back is so key, because he's the only blocker that would know where Hurts is in the pocket. Exactly. See, when you have a guy that's spying on anything of a breakdown in your old line in front, that's why Kelsey's calling off plays and Jalen's going with him, is because he trusts him. Well, you got to figure out where this dual threat guy is, because he's moving around all the time in the pocket. When you don't have a guy where you know where he is, remember, I can't turn around. I got a guy in front of me that I got to block. I don't know where a dual threat guy is behind me. I know where Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, I know where Joe Burrow, I know where pretty much Justin Herbert, I know where they're going to be standing. What I'm saying is it's easier to pass block for them guys. That's why when you're on 3rd and long and you got a really good pass protecting, I'll tell you somebody who's really good, that when he's out, you see the difference in the Los Angeles Chargers. Austin Eckler's a good blitz pickup running back. He is exceptional at it. And he knows where pressure comes from because he studies the game. He can see what they're doing in the blitzing in the games that they're running. There's a really big time, advantage when you have – I would – right now for the Eagles, if they want to throw the ball more, I would take a lesser guy when it came to running the ball and catching the ball, but was a spectacular guy. Why do you think there's a Pro Bowl fullback in San Francisco? What's his name? Yes, it's the same for Jackson. Absolutely healthy. That's why they get to him. What's that full-bowl? Okay, what's that fullback's name that makes the All-Pro every year? What's his name? Jasinski? That guy Kyle Jasinski? Why do you think that guy's essential in that passing offense? That guy's essential in that passing offense because he picks up blitz coverages and he picks up the blitzes. That guy is why Brock Purdy is accurate. Okay? That's one of the outside of picking up blitzers, and maybe a couple yards or some flare passes, he's there to do one thing: protect the quarterback. You don't have anybody on your roster that can protect Jalen Hurts. Hurts is really, and now when you don't have the alternate to go to on block and release and Goddard, that becomes more of a fact. Kansas City knew that. You're not good in, that's why do you think Kansas City and Spagnuolo brought all the blitzing he did and got there 5 times? They did a better job adjusting. By the way, Brian Johnson didn't adjust. Does anybody actually in here believe that Brian Johnson adjusted in the second half? Who believes that? Who believes that? Who believes that Brian Johnson was the guy that made the adjustments? Do you know who made the adjustments? Who made the adjustments in the second half? It's very simple. Do you know? Jason Kelce. You know why it's Jason Kelce? Hurts was going to call a play. Kelce called the play off. How many times have you ever seen a center tell a quarterback, we're not running that? Can you name one? I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never seen a center. Ken goes, whoever called the play. No. Kelce called the play off because it was an odd front and he couldn't get the slip and scoop on him. Hurts wanted to call a particular play. The alignment was an odd front, and that's why Kelce changed it. Hurts went with it, and he slipped and scooped and got up to the next level. The center changed the play, not Jalen. Now, I'm not telling you that Jalen wasn't audibling, but you know what you're going to get from Kelce? Always remember, Jalen does not set the blocking in the O-line. Jason Kelce does. So they both have to be on the same page. I think that's been a struggle in communication this year a little bit because it's new. They didn't do a lot of this last year. There wasn't audibling. There wasn't the type of passes that they're throwing. There wasn't the limited running from Hurts. He ran more in this game, obviously, against Kansas City because he had to. But this is still some of the process that I think they're going through. And then the new coordinator. Personally, Brian Johnson gets in the way. He gets in the way. I mean, I don't know. 8, I think. I went back and watched it. 8 audibles. Kelce, I saw Kelce changing the blocking scheme at least 5. I think they're working on this. And then when you don't have a good blocking back and you're moving in the pocket, that's why Jalen, get this, Jalen might not actually be struggling with the blitzes. I think he's struggling to find a spot in the pocket that's conducive for him because it's new. Will he get better at it? He is getting better at it. That's why you see his capability of big plays getting better. Kansas City confused him. Okay? Remember what I told you yesterday, what Hassan Reddick did? And I know some of you are not going to see this, but when Reddick hit Mahomes in the chest on Monday night, on the second play of the game, they realized right there they could not just have a back pick that guy up or a flexed off tight end and let that guy run on the perimeter of the OT. You had to chip that guy because it changed strength and it turned the entire offense around. And that's why they got that 3 and out. If you remember in that game, Mahomes was moving most of the time to the weak side. It's not that he can't make plays over there, but anytime you move him to his weak side like Denver did, when Denver beat him, they did the same shit that Vance Joseph did in that game. He took basically Sean Desai, the Vance Joseph defensive game plan and moved him around to the left. And they flipped the string. Anytime you have personnel settings like that, you automatically created a built-in mismatch. And with Jalen Hurts and Steve Spagnuolo knowing this, remember I told you how Desai didn't believe that any of the wide receivers for Kansas City could beat them? Okay? Spagnuolo knew immediately that there's not a running back that will pick up his blitzers. And it turned out to be true. And why did that change in the second half? Well, because Hurts ran 11 of his 12 rushes in the second half. And he became more of a running guy in the second half. And that's kind of what slowed down the blitzing and the sacks, was that Jalen had to run. It's all a chess game. And Spagnuolo knew they don't have a running back that's going to pick up McDuffie. What did he have, 2 sacks? Did McDuffie have 2 sacks in that game? Okay, didn't he have 2 sacks? A blitzing corner. Tone goes, yes. Okay, so a blitzing corner. You can't pick up a blitzing corner. It's because you have horrible running backs. They make Kelsey and Dickerson and whoever's playing the right guard spot look awful. So Jalen's sitting back there. And again, the reason you're seeing more sacks, what's great about Hurts, though, here, what he's done how many turnovers does he have in the last 4 games? Could somebody tell me how many turnovers he has in the last 4 games? It's got to be 2. No? It's got to be something like 2 in the last 4. Okay? He's going to not throw the ball. And he's not going to have turnovers in this game. Whereas guys like Allen, they throw the ball into problems and into coverage. Hurts will take the sack, the minus play there, or throw it away. He'd rather throw it away than do what Allen does and take the minus. The problem. Even with here's the difference. Josh Allen has better passing numbers than Jalen Hurts. Right now, he has better numbers. But what does he do that Jalen doesn't do? He doesn't take minus plays. Jalen hates minus plays. And I compared him to Barry Sanders versus Josh Allen's like Barry Sanders and Jalen's like He's like Emmitt Smith. Emmitt doesn't take minus plays. I don't ever remember Emmitt with a minus play. I remember Barry Sanders, -4, -3, -9, +75. Here's Emmitt, 5, 9, 4, 3, 8, 9, 5. You look up, it's 25 carries, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And you're like, holy shit. I mean, right? No one would. Oh, and by the way, somebody asked me a question today. Hey, Sills, what do you think is more impressive? 39,000 points or 18,000 rushing yards? What do you think I said? 39,000 points or 18,000 rushing yards. What do you think is more impressive? Do you really have to answer that? Let's ask. I mean, What seriously, what do you think is more impressive? 18,000 rushing yards or 39,000 NBA points with 3-pointers where you don't have to get touched or nothing? And I don't know. I mean, it's a great accomplishment, 39,000 points, 18,000 rushing yards. 18,000 rushing yards. You're never going to see a back do that again. You will never see that record broken because the game's not set up for that. That's a record that will not be broken ever. It's like you'll never see another 300-game winner. You don't pitch long enough, and you don't stay in the game long enough. 200 is the new 300. The games have been set up so differently now. You're going to see probably 6,000 passing yards soon. Okay, you'll never see 18,000 yards broken ever again. Ever, never happen. I don't know if you'll ever see a running back ever make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame again. Okay? I mean, I just don't. I got a topic for you here. I'm going to do this, Tone, before I take a time out here. Will the Eagles' next 6 games determine how Philly will play the final 2? Are these next 6 games your season? And what I mean by your season, I think it's absolutely inevitable that they're a playoff team. But where? Okay? Now look, let me think here. I don't know if it's 6 because Kansas City's 1. Hey, but no. I think Dallas, KC, Buffalo, San Francisco, Seattle, and Dallas again. So I counted the first Dallas, KC, and the other Dallas. So that's 6. Do you think these 6 games that you've already started determine your season? And by the way, I'm not saying whether you make the playoffs or not, you're going. And let's do this. Let's add this into the conversation here. Do you think you have to hold home field advantage to make it back to the Super Bowl? Do you think you have to have home field to make it to the Super Bowl? By the way, every Super Bowl I believe that you've made, have you not had home field? Didn't you hey, let me think about it for a second without telling me. In 1980 was the NFC Championship game in Philly versus the Cowboys. And the 04 one, wasn't that in Philly? And 17 was in Philly and 22 was in Philly. Am I right when I say that? That every time you've made the Super Bowl, Philadelphia has hosted the NFC Championship game. Is that correct? Okay. So every time that you guys have had the NFC Championship game, and every time you guys have gone to the Super Bowl, you've hosted the game. But you think this year, this team, if they don't host the NFC title game, you think you can get there? Think about that. Every time, every Super Bowl. Tom, no. It's a question because it's important on how these next 6 are, counting Cowboys and Chiefs in that 6. Okay? I think we need it. I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah, because you know why? Personally, I think what's going to happen is this. I think Detroit's going to unseat Dallas as the 3rd best team in the NFC, and they're going to beat them in Dallas. And I think that's really their only really truly tough game that they have to stretch out is that Dallas game in Arlington. Okay? And I think that that's the thing there. You got, can you go to Detroit, okay, and win if you lose a game or you drop a game and Detroit beats Dallas in Arlington? I think the team you got to worry about home field is not Kansas. It's not San Francisco. I think it's Detroit. Okay? It's more about the bye than anything else. That's correct. Dude, and actually, too, I think it's about sleeping in your own bed and not having to leave for an entire month until you go to the Super Bowl. You know, you're not on the road. You're not getting on an airplane. That's a pain in the ass. It's an absolute pain in the ass. Okay? It's more than what you think it is. If you got to sleep in your own bed, have your own routine, and you don't have to leave your friendly confines for a month before you go to Las Vegas, I want that. Okay? Cody goes, Detroit or imposters. Well, they went into Kansas City and won 2. And you would go like this. Well, we beat them with Kelsey and with Chris Jones. Correct. It's a more impressive win. It's a more impressive win. Media might not look at it that way, but I do. Your win is more impressive versus Kansas City than the Lions win versus Kansas City. Common sense would tell you that, wouldn't it? 2 best players outside of Mahomes on the Kansas City Chiefs were not playing in the opener, and you played against Chris Jones at full strength, and he lived up to everything. Kelsey was the one that was butthurt over his girlfriend, and you know what I mean by pee-whipped. This guy's pee-whipped, moaning about his chick not being there, and, his whoopee and all that, and, he had to probably have a pair of her shoes or some shit to cuddle up with that night after the game. I don't know, man. That dude was really pee-whipped, man. He is. I've never seen anything like it. It looks awful soft to me, man. What happened? How come you didn't play well? Well, my girlfriend wasn't here. I don't know. I'm not saying that, senor. I'm not at liberty. I got too many women in my life. I'm not at liberty to say that, but boy, I'll tell you, man, I agree. Hey, come on, guys. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when a guy's been, chick does a job on you. Every man in his life has had that one girl whoop you up there a little bit, and you're like, I don't want to know anything. I can't believe she doesn't call me. Hey, am I right, man? Dude named Felipe, I told you, answers the phone one night, and you're getting ready to go and play a game against the Eagles, man. That might distract you. Who's this? Felipe. Gonna pick up one tonight. Yes, I'm cleaning her gutters. Where's that? In the Rio. Just saying, man. Just like, hey, you know what Mickey said? Lay off the pet shop, girl, Travis. Hey, Tone. Hey, Travis, lay off the pet shop, dame. Women weaken knees. Hey, man, if it's good enough for Rocky and Mickey's giving advice, I'm going to listen to it. Women weaken knees. Lay off that pet shop, dame. Dame. Yeah, Travis Kelce, man. This guy's all whipped up, man. Got his head on a swivel. Guy's all screwed up. Where's my girlfriend? I don't know. She's out late. How come you didn't call me? I called you 40 times. What are you, like GPS? Travis Kelce's probably like GPS with her. Where's my girl? She hasn't called me. Calls him like he's the guy that calls somebody 28 times. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Dude, you got a game tomorrow night. I know. I'm just saying, man. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Hey, by the way, those of you out there, our good friends, you get an opportunity to win some gift certificates with our friends from Hooters. Throughout the entire program, you get a chance to see a code word that Tone throws out at you, and you get a chance to send us your information. Dan Sileo Show at gmail.com. You can win yourself some gift certificates from our friends at Hooters and some merchandise. You will be able to do this all the way. We're not going to do it, obviously, on Thursday for Thanksgiving, but Friday will be the last day. You might hear your name called on a Monday, a football Monday. That'll be a big Monday after the Bills on Sunday. And you may end up finding yourself as one of our winners for our great prize. And we appreciate everybody coming aboard here on Happy Wingsgiving for Hooters. Know this, in the month of November, the iconic Hooter girls want you to know that there's a special each and every single day and every single day of the month of November, like Coors Light drafts, $2.99, 25 cents of each purchase goes towards a local charity all the way from Rhode Island through Jersey, all the way down to King of Prussia. The 2024 Hooter calendars are out. There's 9 girls, I think, are featured in it. There's also $100 worth of gift certificates that are in the calendars too as well. NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com. Military Mondays, 20% off all day. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983. All you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. We appreciate everybody going into our friends at Hooters Northeast. NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com. When you roll in, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.